So today I want to talk to you about just 3 practical things that I do to help with skin flushing for my chest and neck. Technical difficulties. What is happening? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. On this channel we talk a lot about skin flushing, anxiety disorders, things of that nature. I think that's what we talk about. It's what we're starting to talk about more and more. Today I want to talk to you about exposure therapy and what exposure therapy means. So exposure therapy is a technique in behavioral therapy that kind of addresses the anxiety issues. So I've got I'm going to read it to you. Behavior therapy, it treats anxiety disorders. Exposure therapy involves exposing the target patient to the anxiety source or its context without the intention to cause any danger. Doing so is thought to help them overcome their anxiety or distress. So one of the reasons why I started this channel was to talk to you and have exposure therapy so that I could be seen, heard, allow my body to go through the hormonal release of cortisol, stress hormone, whatever needs to happen to make me skin flush, feeling judged or criticized or whatever that may be. So the reason for the channel is exposure therapy. I wanted to be able to talk to you and continue to put myself out in front of people, the world really, truly, which is very scary, regardless of what the feedback may be, so that I could address that underlying anxiety issue that I may have that I'm still trying to discover. If you check out some of the other videos, you'll see that it's all about an exploration time period of trying to figure out why my mind's not saying something but my body's saying something, which can be incredibly frustrating at times. So today I want to talk to you about just 3 practical things that I do to help with skin flushing for my chest and neck. These are not necessary, so think about this. I'm doing these videos for exposure therapy. So what I'm going to tell you today is not about exposure therapy, because I do believe in exposure therapy, and I do believe the more you invite that discomfort and let yourself feel those feelings, that you will experience healing. That's how I got over a lot of anxiety, thought anxiety, over the past it was 9 years ago, blah, blah, blah. I'll talk about it more in another video. I don't want to make this video too long, but 3 practical things that have helped me to get through the day when I have a lot of skin flushing going on. And number 1 is I do a self tanner. So whether you're a tanning bed person or a lay in the sun person or using products that are, or spray tans or product tans or whatever, I've got some suggestions for those. But I use that because I am a fair skin person, and if my skin is tan, then the redness is not as so if I have tan skin, that makes me feel a little better about the red not being so in your face. So number 1 is I use a tanner. Number 2 is I do wear high neck shirts. So I wear a lot of turtlenecks. I have summer turtlenecks that are thin material that come up around my neck that are sleeveless, but I also wear shirts like this, which this is just a tie here. I'm looking there so I can see myself. A tie here, but it still comes up and hugs closely. This is a light material for a warmer day. So I do keep myself covered up here because most of my flushing happens here, if you've seen in other videos, and only a little bit will come up my neck depending on how crazy the situation is right there. I think I scratched myself there. But anyway, so I do wear a high neck shirt because it keeps my mind from having to think about if you and I are having a conversation and every 5 seconds, if I have a V-neck shirt on, all of a sudden I'm looking down to make sure that you're not seeing me flushing. Crazy. So that's the second thing. And then the other thing that I do, the third tip that I want to share with you today, is breathe. Years ago, I kept getting, every single day I would feel like I was going to get a cold sore, and I would feel my mouth tingling. I was really aware of my lips, that they were really dry, and I always had to use chapstick. It was really like an OCD thing. I just had to constantly use chapstick kind of as a comfort for me. But I just kept feeling like constantly I was flushing, and I felt like I was going to get a cold sore, that tingly feeling. So I went to my functional neurologist, and as I was talking to him about it, the first thing he said to me, and we have a really good relationship, but he looks at me and he goes, "Are you breathing?" And I go, "Well, yeah, I'm breathing. I'm living, ain't I?" And he goes, "No, are you actually breathing?" And then he talked to me about making sure that you're actually taking those full breaths in and releasing breath, because your body on a cellular level can become very starved if you are not breathing properly. It just kind of jacks up your whole nervous system. I'm not a medical professional or a neurologist. I learn from others who have studied, and then I just repeat it back in what I think they said to me, which may or may not always be true. But you get the gist of what I'm saying. Breathe. There are so many breathing apps out there. You can Google how to properly breathe. There's box breathing. There's all kinds of suggestions on how to properly breathe, but it was about taking that alone time. So he told me that he wanted me every hour for 2 minutes to breathe. And so I set a timer for the next 48 hours, obviously during my awakening period, when I wasn't sleeping. And I would just do this breathing technique for 2 minutes. And probably within that first day, I realized when I breathed that it hurt my ribs, because I don't think I had ever taken a breath that deep in years. I mean, I don't even remember the last time, if or when, I would have breathed like that. So then the next day I did the breathing again, and I noticed that the tingling in my mouth went away and that I didn't feel like I was going to constantly get these cold sores. And some of the flushing died down a little bit too. And I do know that even though I still have the skin flushing going on, if I just take a moment to relax, let myself feel the feelings and breathe, it actually will make it subside a lot quicker. So that's just what I wanted to share with you today. Tan, higher neck shirts, and breathing. And I know that if you are a woman, then it's easier for us to find lots of garments that can help cover us up a little bit. And in the fall, you can put a scarf on. I'll show you guys my closet one day. You'll see my wardrobe, because I again am for exposure therapy and working through what you're going through. And there's other areas of my life where I just rip that damn Band-Aid off and I'm like, we're doing this right now. I am not there on this journey. So I'm using exposure therapy in other ways, but then I also have these other things, like I said in previous videos about working in corporate. That's something I have to show up to every day in a high level, powerful role, and being able to have that image, which also feels very contrary to who I am in my real life. And I'll share things about that at another time. But anyway, so we got tan, which there are a lot of tan lotions out there. I've got some great suggestions. If you're interested, I'd be happy to share those. Then wearing a higher neck shirt or something around my neck, or a thicker necklace, or something that just helps kind of take that focus off of this area for me. It's really more here. And breathing. So if you are struggling with any kind of skin flushing, maybe those tips would help you. If you have your own tips that you'd like to share, I would love to hear about them if you'll leave them in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I'd love to know who you are. Subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, and let's have a conversation about it. Because the more we know that we're not alone on this journey, the more empowered that we are. And I'd love to hear if you've done exposure therapy or any other kind of therapy to help with your skin flushing, excessive blushing, whatever you got going on, sweating, any of those things. So leave a message, leave a comment, and I'd be happy to hear from you. And I will see you guys next time.